Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Lewis Speaks 2023, and today I want to talk to you all about working with difficult people and also people that like to overcomplicate everything. You know, there are certain people in this world, they always have to make mountains out of molehills. You know, for some reason, they have to always try and overcomplicate matters. You know, this brings me back to a line in the song X Factor by Lauryn Hill, where she says, "It could all be so simple, but you rather make it harder." There are some people who just enjoy making things harder. And I'm the type of person that likes to take a step back and just analyze why that is. I know for some people they like to transfer their frustrations. The whole transfer of emotion, transfer of frustration. A lot of people get off on transferring their frustration. So they try and pretend as though they don't understand what you're saying, when really they do understand what you're saying, but yet and still they want you to get frustrated. They want to get a rise out of you and be able to somehow affect you. They gain pleasure in knowing that they affected you somehow. And eliciting those negative responses, those negative emotions from you really feeds their own sick, broken egos. You know, for some reason, them being able to make you sad, make you mad, make you angry, gives them a feeling of power, you know? And these are definitely broken personality types. A lot of character disorder people enjoy doing this, trying to transfer these negative emotions onto you and making everything so complicated, making everything so difficult. And it's really sad, quite frankly, you know? But that's one reason why they try to overcomplicate and be very difficult. Another is people try to, I guess, they want a sense of awe. They want you to be impressed by them. So they deliberately complicate very simplistic things so that way you can be impressed by their knowledge base. Oh, wow, this person must know what they're talking about because they said this big word or that big word. Or, you know, it's just really is ego based. They just trying to get food for their ego. You know, a lot of them feel bad. They really don't know what they're talking about at all. And so, in an effort to avoid looking stupid, they try to overcomplicate things. You know, it's a way for them to deflect away from you seeing the truth, that they don't know anything at all. A lot of the people in my life, in terms of coworkers, in terms of family, friends, all the ones who really made things difficult and would overcomplicate matters, they really didn't know anything. They really didn't have an advanced knowledge of anything. They just didn't know, and so they tried to cover it up. It's one of those situations where they're trying to pretty much just cover it up. You know, mask the fact that they don't know anything. You know, it's compensatory. They're trying to compensate, overcompensate, you know, and by using big words and by, you know, engaging in these complications, it's like they try to lose you intentionally because the goal is to not have you see how stupid they look. They don't want you to see that. You know, so that's why they overcomplicate matters. A lot of people also are pathologically miserable. I realize that. They're miserable, and there's a lot of transference also. I'll give you an example. A wife has a fight with her husband in the morning time. He doesn't perform some task that she expects. And so they argue, they fight. She comes to work and she begins to take it out on her male coworkers. And so what she's doing is definitely transferring. She's transferring her negative energy that she feels for her husband onto the male coworkers. And that happens a lot. There's a lot of transference. There's a lot of people out there who are taking their aggression and their frustration out on people who did nothing to them. You know, so they want to be difficult, they want to be oppositional, they want to challenge you down to the floor because they're frustrated with their own situations in their own lives, Because the thing about it is this, I realized when you feel good about yourself and when you feel good about life, you try your best to keep it simple. You try your best to explain. You try your best to clarify. You want other people to know the truth. You want other people to understand. You want to extend that invitation to them in a loving, caring, compassionate way. But when you don't, you deliberately try to resist. You try to oppose. And another thing, a lot of people, they're living in spiritual darkness and they don't realize that they're just being used by Satan, the devil. They're not aware that they're being used, by the ruler of the authority of the air. The scriptures mention that term, the ruler of the authority of the air. Who is this ruler of the authority of the air? That's Satan, the devil. And a lot of people, they don't realize that, Satan, the word Satan means opposer. Devil, it means resistor, resistor, challenger, So they're resisting, they're opposing, they don't realize, and devil also means slanderer. That's the thing, slanderer. There's a lot of devils out here who want to throw dirt on your name, and they don't even realize by their resisting, by their opposing, by their slander, they're being used by the devil and they're not even aware of it. The spirit of opposition is real, especially in 2023. Everybody wants to oppose anything that you say. They're not open to any agreement, as 2 Timothy 3 verse 1 through 5 states. They're not open to any agreement. They want to battle you. They want to challenge you. You say it's right. They say it's left. You say it's black. They say it's white. They always want to try to disagree with you. And they know that you're right. I've had co-workers, they've known that my way of thinking was correct, but they have argued me down to the floor, and lo and behold, in the final analysis, they basically just took what I said and then tried to, I guess, pass it off as their own, And I'm sitting back like, this is funny. You fought me tooth and nail only to try to take my idea and pass it off as your own. How crazy is that? But that's what happens. That's what happens. People can know that you're right, but they'll deliberately try to oppose you and go against you, and it's sad. It really is. That's why I've learned you have to be confident in your own thinking. Because a lot of people out here will try to talk you out of your ideas, and it's the very ideas that they try to talk you out of that they themselves try to steal. So you have to be very careful about believing what people say, because a lot of people are not for you. They're not for your development. They're not for your elevation. They're for your stagnation. They want you to remain stagnated. They want you to remain under their thumb. And the moment that you resist that position of being under their thumb, that's when they get angry, So you have to trust yourself more. And this is where self-trust comes in, And that's one of the things, how to deal with difficult people. Don't believe them. Don't feel like you'll ever get support from them, because they will never support you. They've already shown a track record of being difficult. They've shown that to you. Now with that information, what you have to decide to do is build yourself up, encourage yourself, build up your own confidence. They're going to always try to undermine your confidence. That's what difficult people do, And the thing is, I realized this. People get what they get because they are who they are. A lot of times people have difficulties in their lives because they're difficult people. A lot of times people, they face so much opposition because they are in effect oppositional themselves. They're always opposing. They're always resisting. That's how they self-sabotage. And that's why they continue to get what they get in life, which is nothing. They get nothing but heartache, pain, and bad experiences because they continue to try and be oppositional. You attract that energy to you when you are oppositional. You attract oppositional energy. You attract self-sabotage when you give that energy out there. You know, there are a lot of people, they always wonder why. Why am I always in this bad predicament? Why am I always experiencing these hardships? Well, chances are you yourself are oppositional. And this is not the be all to end all, you know, because sometimes bad things happen to good people, but a lot of times we have to check in with the energy that we're putting out there. What energy are we putting out there? You know? What energy am I inviting into my life because of the energy that I put out? That's the question you have to ask yourself. And a lot of people do not ask themselves this question. They want to oppose and be difficult. And I say this, if you're dealing with a difficult person, whether it be a coworker, a family member, a friend, you have to learn, for one, to distance yourself from that person. You have to realize that that person will never support you. They will never be encouraging. They're difficult because they have broken egos and they have low ego strength. What does it mean to have low ego strength? It means that you can't be happy for someone else. It means that you always have to try and bolster and self-promote and try to be above someone else. And you don't mind cutting off their head so that way you stand taller. Always realize that these people are really just empty inside and they have low ego strength. You know, they don't have healthy egos. You know, they always feel the need to try and one up somebody. Hence the need to always try and undermine your thinking because they just don't feel good about themselves. And it's not your job to make them feel good about it. Let me be clear. It's not your job to make them feel good about themselves or to present yourself as less of a threat, just to make them feel comfortable. No. You have a light inside of you that you were born. That's your purpose. Your purpose is to live your light, grow your light, shine your light. That's your purpose. So when you deal with these spaces that are limiting, oftentimes very limiting, and you deal with these difficult people, realize they're always trying to dim your light. They're always trying to undermine your shine. That's what they do. That's just what difficult people do, right? Birds gotta swim. Matter of fact, let me take that back. Birds gotta fly. Fish gotta swim. Difficult people have gotta be difficult. That's what they do. That's part of their nature. But to protect yourself, you have to, for one, learn how to trust yourself. Trust yourself more, build your own self-confidence. And how do you do that? Knowledge. Knowing more, knowing what you know and putting that knowledge to work. Knowledge in action. So knowing, trusting yourself. Trusting yourself. Also, keeping a healthy distance from these difficult people. You might have to work with them, but at the same time, make sure that you're separating from them. Make sure that you take yourself away from those environments and just reinforce who you are. Hang out with people that reinforce your greatness, that are in alignment with your thinking. It's important. You will always need someone to check you, right? And you need a trusted source. For me, my trusted source is my Heavenly Father. I look in that Bible and I'm asking myself, in what ways can I be readjusted so that way I am pleasing in His eyes? What does it say in this scripture here? What scriptural evidence do I have in order to transform? You know, because a lot of times people, you know, they're telling you things from their lens. They're operating from their lens. And sometimes their lens is broken. Sometimes their lens is just maladjusted, and that it needs some adjustment. And so I trust God. I trust a spiritual source because He's someone that I know wants me to win. I know, you know, my family, my mom, my sister, they definitely want me to win. So I'll check in with them and I'll kind of just, you know, bounce some ideas off of them just for some perspective, you know? And so you have to have some trusted authorities in your life who you can kind of get that perspective from. but also realize you will never be supported by difficult people. So don't expect it. Trying to expecting support from difficult people will only leave you disappointed, resentful, and angry. It's like trying to expect a paraplegic to walk and go with you dancing. They don't have the capacity to do that. And so once again, we always get hurt because we don't assess people's capacity to perform the actions that we need. We have got to assess a person's capacity, and with difficult people, chalk it up. They're just not able to be supportive. And so what you have to do is learn how to support yourself by, for one, recognizing that reality, they're not going to support you. And sometimes you get you get caught off guard because sometimes they seem so supportive. Sometimes I see that they can support other people. I see that they have the capacity to do that for someone else, but for me, they just don't seem to have it. And that's okay. That's fine, because if you notice that they can support other people, but they can't support you, that's fine. Chances are there's some transference there. There's something about your energy that's off-putting for them. And so that's okay. Not everybody gets along. Hey, that's fine, But once again, the important thing is for you to get the support that you need in order to thrive and grow. Also, assert yourself. Stand up for yourself. Don't just passively sit back and let difficult people just have their way. No, you have to always check them. You have to always make sure that you assertively ask for clarification in certain matters. Ask for, documentation sometimes. Supporting documentation. You have to always make sure that you challenge their thinking. Don't just passively accept what they're doing, because oftentimes difficult people will definitely try to one-up you in order to elevate themselves. And they don't mind making you look stupid. They don't mind embarrassing you. They don't mind humiliating you to do it. And so you always have to be on guard, and you have to make sure that you assert yourself, especially if you are a person who struggles with asserting yourself. If you're a people pleaser, if you're a person that is passive, who is always trying to, make it so that way everybody gets along. No. You have to stand up. You have got to stand up and assert yourself and assert your thinking and make sure that it's implemented. Because honestly, a lot of times, difficult people will rely on your passivity in order to elevate themselves to higher status. Don't let them rely on your passivity. Show them. No. While I do value human relationships, I realize the necessity of asserting my thinking here in this moment. And does that mean you'll always get your way, or your idea will be met with support, consideration, thoughtfulness? No. They're difficult people. They live to challenge and try and undermine your thinking. So you have to have remedies in place in order to ensure that your ideas are implemented and also valued. And sometimes you will be the only person that implements your idea. You will be the only person at this table that supports your idea. So, and that's okay. That is okay. Because when your idea comes to fruition and it takes off, then everybody's going to be kissing your behind. They're going to be kissing your behind, giving you praise and congratulations. But no, just remember, you guys initially didn't want to do this. You weren't on board with this thinking. But now all of a sudden that you see that it's taking off, that it has launched, now you want to come along and try to bask in the credits. Nah. Just support yourself. That's what I realized. Just you have to support you and have your own back and give yourself a pat on the back. You have to, because you're not going to get that from difficult people. Oppositional people, nope. They live to oppose. That's what they live to do. So I hope this video was helpful. There's so many different techniques and strategies to deal with difficult people. However, I'm just giving you some techniques and also some insight into difficult and oppositional people. Definitely share your thinking. I look forward to reading all your comments. Let me know exactly what your experiences have been with difficult and oppositional people. All right? This is Lewis Speaks, wishing everybody a wonderful 2023. Peace, y'all.